Hi, it's Louise here. We're just going out for our walk. This is Willow coming out. She's wearing a Cam Park camera on her back. I'm just using it as an experiment. It's nothing elaborate. It's a cheap camera. It has rubbish sound. It doesn't have very good stabilization. So what you see here is completely raw footage. We're going to head out and I was going to play some music under this, but it didn't work, and then I was going to talk from Willow's point of view, and that didn't work for me. I wasn't comfortable with that, so unfortunately you've just got a boring old narrative from me. So Willow lives on a 50-foot narrowboat with myself, Louise, and my husband Dave. We are full-time liveaboards. She has a big sister her big sister is called Eva. She is not a Great Dane. Eva is an Akita cross. It was very beautiful to see when we got Willow as a puppy. She's 6.5? Below 6.5? Some 6.5 years ago that Eva was completely maternal with her. She loved her as if she was her own puppy. Eva at the time would have been about 1.5 years. Here Willow, has just eaten some bread. So duck season or summer season, or when people are feeding the ducks, is the bane of my life, because the dog just goes around and hoovers up all the bread. She has a digestion problem, and that causes us a problem. I can imagine she wasn't very impressed that I've just thrown the bread into the lake for the ducks, who are too darn lazy to get out of the bloody canal and get the bread themselves. So, what was I saying before that? Yeah, so we all live on a narrowboat anyway, so we're just going to walk down the canal. Now, somebody suggested I make this video with narrative, and I didn't really want to, but I kind of think it makes sense. So, at the beginning of 2021, have decided to walk 1,000 miles, and I'm one of those walkers that needs to be going somewhere, i.e. to the pub would be a good location. However, because there are no pubs open, we're in lockdown at the moment. Willow, poor old girl, has brought it in the neck. She got it in the neck. She has to walk with me. I make her do it. She don't want to do it, but she's going to do it for me because she loves me. So we're going to walk 1,000 miles in a year, hopefully. We've currently done 70 miles. We've done 80 miles, so we've got 920 miles to go. I'm hoping to walk, when I say I mean we, Willow and I, are hoping to walk every day for 3 miles a day. This is the one example of not 3 miles a day. It's a short walk. I've got so much to do. Actually, it was one of the better days we've had thus far. I just take Willow off now. Normally, this is interesting behaviour. Normally, she just zooms away to the far corner, to that lock gate over in that top right-hand corner, and then she rubs her face on the floor. And I think it's because I've strapped a camera to her back. She's chosen just to stay perfectly close to me, not too far at all. And yeah, that wibble on the old camera, that's her shoulder blades, because the way it's set up is her harness is actually a human harness, and it's for the GoPros and all of the activity cameras. And all I've done is brought a human harness, but I've turned it up the other way because Willow's chest is so big that she's kind of got the back on her chest, and then the chest for a human is on her back, and that's where the GoPro is mounted on. I say GoPro like we've got loads of money. It's not a GoPro, it's a cam park. It's a poor imitation. But it does, well, it does the job and we can afford it to do. So yeah, apart from it's got terrible stabilisation. So again, you see her shoulder blades coming into play here. And not allowed to chop them off because the RSPCA would be called. But yeah, oh, there's me taking a picture of her. It's quite an interesting setup. When I was walking, everybody kindly pointed out that the dog, or he, as all big dogs are boys, that he had a camera on his back. It's like I didn't know it was there. I mean, what do you say when somebody goes, your dog's got a camera on its back? And I go, yeah, yes, she has. Oh, it's a girl. Yes, it's a girl. So, always get Willow to heel. She knows heel. She goes on the left of me. She's fairly well behaved when we're out and she's on her own. It's when she's out with Eva we get the naughty behaviour, or the, you know, I can go better than you. So she's always pretty much well behaved. Oh, unless there is distraction. Dog, rat, cat, small dog, duck, moorhen. Anything basically that could be chased is a distraction for her. Now currently we are walking on the sill of the towpath, which is the concrete bit, because that is a quagmire. It is completely mudded up to the left of us there. It'd be a bit like Cinderella losing a shoe boot. It's interesting that Willow chooses to walk directly behind me, and I think that's because she don't want to get her pretty little feet all dirty. So now we have a wonderful shot of my rumpus, giving it the heave-ho, sway, sway. So thanks for that, Willow. Mind you, I did put it on her back. You can see the outline of the camera on her back in the shadows. Again, I think she's eating at this point. Yep, she's eating. Yeah, that's another piece of bread that I've got to yank out of her mouth. And sometimes I don't even know what that dog has eaten, but you yank it out anyway. Just don't ask questions and wash your hands when you get home. It's disgusting. All part and parcel of owning a Dane, I suppose. Well, any dog, really. I should just having a smoocher around here. It is nothing really interesting. It is a normal dog. So the reason why Eva's not come out is because Eva is now 9.5, and for a giant breed, that's a lot of wear and tear on the old muscles, joints. She's got arthritis in the back end, so she's down to about half a mile. Little and often, they say, whereas Willow will do a much longer walk, purely because she loves me and she does it for me. I don't think she wants to walk this any more than I do. If I'm doing it, Willow's doing it, and we're suffering together. Just checking the camera out. Note I didn't pull it backwards. I didn't know it did this rocking sensation when I was recording. So every time I stop, Willow more or less stops. She's pretty much, I call her my Velcro dog. People ask us, is it not cruel to have a giant breed on a narrowboat? And to be honest with you, if we're not out or active or doing something, locks, towpath, walking, whatever we're doing, they're asleep. And generally they're asleep at our feet. So we don't have too much of a problem as long as you actively engage them. They're pretty much stimulated in all sort of mental and physical welfares for them. Now I'm distracted. I think I'm on social media or something, or doing something with my phone, so the dog's pretty much walking herself. This lock here, that's to and fro in here. You're getting seasick, are you? That's Deep Lock. I think originally it was 2 locks. Was it 2 locks originally? And then was it bombs or something? Oh, well, anyway, there was a reason, and they didn't make it 2 locks again. They made it 1 big lock. If you are coming up on the Sheffield and Tinsley Canal, that one is a ferocious one, so just be cautious, stay at the back. It just follows me. I feel like the Pied Piper sometimes. So this is another towpath run here, and this is a quagmire of mud, water, tread of people and bikes. It's icky, so it's like playing hopscotch on a bad day. And again, Willow will follow me, or sometimes she will choose the better route, so I follow her, but generally she's following me. End up walking on the edge. I hope you got good balance or you're going in the canal. Heading down to the junction that comes off the motorway onto Meadowhall, which is a big shopping centre in Sheffield. What were you saying was built on that waste ground up to the left? That was old industrial units, wasn't it? Was it steelworks, did you say?
Steelworks, Meadowhall were built on.
Old steelworks. That was Dave. Say hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
It's almost like doing a podcast, I suppose. Not that we've ever done one of them. So I think this man here is asking me if he can stroke the dog, and I think I kind of said no. I think I was in a hurry, really. As I said, I haven't got the time to go round the whole walk. Also, I'm always a bit cautious of people. I'm quite lucky. I mean, that Willow... Oh, somebody's coming past. I've got hold of her collar. Willow kind of walks with her head down, so we're shooting. The camera's shooting straight over her back. Oh no, I just hooked her because this guy was on the bench. I didn't... The issue with the dog is she would just go up and sniff him right in his face. It's sometimes inappropriate behaviour. It's always a good giggle, but yeah, not good. So there's a little bit of a battle as to who's going to walk on the concrete bit. So she's just overtook me, and then she stopped because she'll wait for me to carry on walking. It's quite a nice day, one of the better days we've seen in 2021. Shoulder blades coming into play again. And a lovely view of my rumpus. So it's just a shot of my coat. I should have an advertisement on my bottom, really. I quite like this when she puts her head up and looks about. I think it's rather cute. Otherwise, it's a very close-up of my bum. I think I'm actually, again, still doing social media. And again, Willow is just walking herself. She's such a good girl. Well, I use good girl in a broad sense of the term. She's such a good girl when she's walking on her own. We do have lots of other behaviours. Willow is the puppy that gets us up in the morning. She generally gets up between about 8:30, so she'll come in and she'll scream at us, and that's our alarm to get up and go for a walk. And generally she knows when it's 9 o'clock at night, because that's when she wants to go out for a wee. Like a clock, really. Willow just snotting in my face. Not on the video just now. I mean, you can tell just by the way she's walking, how she's just strutting along. It puts me in mind of a teenager dragging their feet around. It's like she doesn't want to be there. But clearly, if I'm there, then she'll be wherever I am. She loves me so much. See, I like that. We're avoiding the mud. I think somebody's coming past us. Yep, there they are. They're off. Now this man is a photographer. And again, I get the question, has that dog got a camera on its back? Have you got eyes in your head? Yes, she does. And then he said, well, you can't see anything because of the dog's head. And I said, oh. And then he said, oh, you should mount it backwards because sometimes the beauty's behind you. And I said, oh. And then he continued to talk about photography, even though I didn't think my response of oh was, please tell me something more about you. But it was, and he carried on talking. I mean, even as he was trying to walk away from me, he was talking. I think I may have used a couple of more O's, so that potentially could have been classed as further encouragement on his behalf. But eventually he went on his way, and I decided, best plans, turn round, go back, out the mud. Didn't really fancy all that mud, so we went over I don't know, I suppose it's the wasteland now. What they do is occasionally they burn it all down. It all grows back, and then they burn it all down again. So currently it's on its way growing back. It's all thistles and bushes and things up. Not here, it's as we go up to the next level. Apologies for the sun, but there's very little I can do about that. It's a very big object. This is completely without filter. So it is what it is. It's the sun. It's in your eyeballs. I can assure you it was in my eyeballs. So sometimes when I'm going up a steep hill, I kind of use Willow. There's a bike coming past at the moment. I always try and keep her over to the left, out the way. We try and stand still. It's not that she's going to attack the bike or anything. It's just to get her big bulk out of the way. So anyway, as we go up this hill, in a minute it's like a steep incline, I kind of use Willow as a walking stick. Or if it was a steeper incline, I'd ask her to drag me up it, even though I've trained the dog not to pull. It's a new tactic. She's slightly confused by it. That steep incline. I think I like to feel that I did that with agility. I can see you all shaking your heads. Don't think that I can't. Oh. There you go. Sometimes you just got to shake it out. And off we go again on our plot back. It's quite nice up here. There's lots of rabbits up here, and Willow is very particularly keen on eating all the rabbit droppings. I think it's her way of keeping the environment safe. Recycling, upcycling you might call it. I call it disgusting. Or another good one I call it is Willow stop, or Willow don't do that, or Willow no. Yeah, she does like them rabbit currants. But again, she stayed by my side. Normally she would have been off exploring up here. She's pretty velcro today. And I think it's the unfamiliar feel of the harness I put on her. Kind of step back at that point. The wilderness bit that I was on about earlier. Going back. Now I'm looking for my phone. I've had it on me. I've been on it all the time, and I think that I've lost it. What I've actually done is put it in the different pocket. So I kind of do like this whole 360-degree dance. It looks like I'm line dancing, but clearly if I was, I would be doing it with much more style than what appears on camera at the moment. Maybe I've just told you about that bit too soon. That is how professional I am. So just across to the right of us is some tram tracks, and then across from that the road, and then beyond Meadowhall. So it's all fairly walkable and local. I mean, Sheffield is meant to be one of the greenest cities. I wouldn't say that was based around Tinsley. I think this is the part where I've already told you about me losing my phone, so I go back and then I find it in my other pocket. Oh, a genius that I am. And then we go on. I think I may have confused the poor old puppy, but I think that is the most beautiful shot. Probably my favourite of the whole video. What was that song where they went trumpety trumpety trump? Oh, I was hit Nelly. I've kind of insulted myself. And the second verse, Dave? Ahead of the herd? The head of the herd was calling far, far away. No, just me? Let me know if you know it anyway. Well, anyway, that's Nelly the elephant. Well, this part of the video reminds me of that song. So in effect, I've just called myself an elephant. I'm slightly insulted by myself. I shall write a formal complaint letter and see what compensation I can extract from my very self, even though I don't know money, weirdly. This is my train of thoughts. Willow shoulder blades playing a part again. And just hear some funky music as you stride towards the disco, just that left and right action there. Do, do, do. Again, my train of thoughts of rambling on. So just up here, somebody's dumped a load of rubbish. I don't know what she's heard there. So just up here, somebody's dumped a load of rubbish, which Willow finds especially interesting. Especially as it has lots of used food in it, which is, in Willow's mind, completely fair game. I'm thinking, Willow, stop. Willow, no. Willow, disgusting. But again, in true professional capacity, I've told you about it way too early. It's almost like I knew what was going to happen, when clearly I did. And then just after the rubbish, we head down through the bushes. Yep, there's all the lovely, disgusting used packages. You know that she would be rummaging in that if I hadn't have given her the Willow, don't you dare look. I go down, down, hair pulling down. Back onto the towpath by that deep lock that I'd previously mentioned. And then we head home. And surprisingly enough, we come across some familiar characters. You remember the bike man that was sitting on the bench? He makes another appearance. Now the only reason why I put Willow back on the lead here is because I haven't got line of sight. So I don't know what's around the corner, what's over the brow of the hill. So she only ever walks off lead if I can see, hear a fair old way, shall we say. She's fairly disagreeable to small things. To be fair, she's fairly disagreeable to bigger things too. She has met a horse. She didn't like it. I guess it's a size issue. Maybe she got little dog syndrome. So this is notoriously where fisher people fish, where they leave their reels. Oh, I don't know. Is it reels, Dave? That see-through fishing wire stuff. what? Lines, they call them lines. So I pick them up along here because obviously that would impact on wildlife and more closer to home. It could get tangled around the dog's feet, and in worst case scenario, I think Willow has tried to eat one before as well. And I think that was because it was dropped in a maggot. This is the bike man. That dog's got a camera on it. And I yell, "You're on camera!" And then he puts a big thumbs up. Don't worry, you've not seen the last of him. We'll see him again in a minute. So yeah, I pick up Fisher People reels. And Willow picks up the maggots, which is lovely. Or not lovely, depending on who you are and how you look at it. And then she's off lead again. And then we have to walk on the towpath sill just because of all that mud. It's a beautiful day. I love the way the sun glistens on the water. It just brings me peace. It brings me tranquility. I'm walking with the dog. I mean, that's pretty good. That's my job. And this is a pretty good shot. The way the light is glistening is particularly detracting from the wideness of my arse. I quite like that shot, that's good. Who knew Willow was a camera person? She's done very well. So you'll note, well, you would have seen briefly, you can't see it now because of the sun, but you'll note that these logs are always overflowing. That's just the way the pump drain works. Water flows downhill, clearly, because it wouldn't flow uphill. And then the monument. This is the texting in the dog world. It's where everybody wheezes and poops and sniffs and sees who's been around here. So that monument says that it got bombed and it just commends. I think it was rebuilt or something, I can't remember, but clearly it was rebuilt. And all of those stones over to the right hand side, that's what used to be the old toll house. There's two lads sitting on them stones and they sit there every lunchtime. So, and there's the Mr. Bike Man again. And then we're just heading home. We're on a final lag now. The building to the right is IKEA. It'll turn into a bit of a mapathon? I don't know. So when we get under that bridge, again in my professional way of telling you things that are going to happen before they do, I'm going to bob Willow back on her lead because again there's a blind corner there I'm not going to be able to see. Oh, she's off on a tangent. Oh, I lied. I'm bobbing her on the lead now. It's just because I can't see round that corner. And bikes swoop past that corner, so that's an active railway bridge in front. And then again, we're just walking on the sill of the towpath. So one thing you can be sure of is Willow is pleased to be going home. She's quite happy to walk. She's quite happy to walk with me. But what she'd rather be doing is sleeping in front of the fire, or eating actually. No, I think it's probably eating above sleeping. Eating, sleeping, and annoying Eva. Probably in that order actually. When we first took... Was Willow okay with the lock gates? She's always been okay with the lock gates. I think she just... Yeah, she just follows me actually. I think the narrow ones, but not on this canal. She's always been okay with the lock gates. She's grown up with them, so she's known no difference. So just sort of trots across. If we can do it, she can do it. And that has got to be Willow's favourite bin. Lots of people commute or walk through this part, and they leave all sorts of rubbish there for her to pick up and eat and sniff and do what... Well, yeah. Well, you saw with the bread earlier. If she gets the chance, she'll go for it. Because obviously we don't feed her, do we? Just to point out, we do feed her twice daily. The expensive sort, in case you were asking. Which you weren't, because this is a recording. But if you did, now you know. There's nobody out. If there was anybody out on neighbours' boats, the dog would run up to them on their boats, but there's nobody out, so we just make it quite safely home. Thank you very, very much for watching. 40 minutes of the back of a dog's head. I thought it was interesting, but then obviously I would. It's my dog. Willow and I thank you very much. Take care. Look after each other. Bye.